What's going on, Dynasty Strong? I'm extremely excited to be here with you guys on this Tuesday afternoon. On my so far, I see Gio, I see Mike, I see Adrian, I see Kim, I see Justin, Gio, and Leanne. So I'm excited to be here with you guys. I don't really want to go over too many announcements. There's a team cup going on right now. If you're part of a team cup, you know what that is. If you don't know what that is, it's cool. Just keep doing your business activity tracker. Ask questions when you have them so that we can guide you. The biggest announcement that I do want to give is Super Weekend is this weekend. Okay. And I want to share a story about my first Super Weekend, and it's going to go along with this topic of today, which is initiating conversations, finding new followers, doing invites and follow-ups and all of that. I want you to know I don't have a slide presentation. This is just going to be very much giving ideas, giving tips, having you guys ask me questions about different scenarios perhaps, or how to find people. And I want to be able to answer those for you because I've done it on all platforms for 12 years. But this weekend is Super Weekend. It's basically what Super Weekend is quarterly. Beachbody does it's like a corporate hosted event, but it's sponsored basically by local coaches in any given area. So for example, the coaches in Utah are hosting a Super Weekend in Salt Lake City. But what a Super Weekend is corporate makes a video with new announcements of products. There's always like a success story of like a transformation, a success story for the business, and some great training tips. So that's what it is. That presentation, just so you're aware of what's happening when you go to one this weekend, is typically 45 minutes, I would say. But at a local event, the magic is like happens in the hallway. It's talking to the person in the seat next to you. It's talking to someone in the hallway and saying, hey, my name's Mike. What's your name? What's your story? What brought you to Beachbody? And really just networking, getting to know other people that are on this same mission with us. Very similar to Summit, but in a smaller guideline. Most Super Weekends will do a live workout of some format, and there'll usually be a host at the front that asks someone to come up and share their story, both weight loss and for the business. So that's what a Super Weekend is. But I got to tell the story now. My advice to you guys right now, if you're serious about building your business, try to do whatever you can this weekend to get to a local Super Weekend event. Just go to Coach FAQ, search Super Weekend, August 2022. There'll be hyperlinks with all of the registered events, so you can find if there's one near you. I know one of my coaches shared our local event is on Sunday, and I can't go on Sunday. I don't do those things on Sunday. And I was like, okay, that's awesome. I don't want you to go on Sunday if that's against your beliefs. But my advice to that specific coach was go register your own event, because you can do that. It doesn't matter what rank you are. And you can either put it as public and let people come, or you can put it as private and nobody will know about it but you, and corporate will send you the video. And so you can still at least absorb that content and that training. So do whatever you can to get to a Super Weekend or host your own. I'm still debating right now if I invite a couple local friends on a long, arduous hike on Saturday, and then we watch the video afterwards around a campfire on a little projector, or if I go down to Salt Lake City with the big event. I'm not sure yet, but I will be at one of those. So I love Laura saying I will totally do that. Here, I want to share with you guys, we're going to talk a lot about invites today, follow-ups, conversations. But I want you to listen to the story about my first Super Saturday to give you an idea of the type of mentality you have to have when it comes to this business. So when I first started my business, I built a lot locally. I wanted to do like a workout in my hometown where I could get together with my friends and do a workout. We didn't have everything that we needed. We didn't have a flat screen TV. It was one of the deep monitors. It's like this wide, like a big cube, right? And we'd put it in the back of Gabby's Honda Pilot. And we asked my daughter's dance studio if we could use it for free, and they said yes. And we brought a DVD player with P90X and this TV, and we made flyers. We printed shirts. It was Team Dynasty. We're brand new coaches, me and a friend from high school and my bass player from my band. They were my first coaches. And we printed these iron-on shirts, and they fell off before we even got to the event, to our first live workout. And we're like 2 weeks into the business, all three of us. There's no local coaches. We start this fit club. We don't wait for anybody to tell us how to do it. We take that action on our own. We get there, and my coach, Laura, it was her name. She looks at me. Whoa, by the way, no one came to the workout. It was just us three. Nobody that we invited came, but what do? We still worked out. We still did the workout. We still posted about our fit club. Long story short, that fit club grew to over 80 people coming every single week, but we continued to show up. But the story is, when I got there, Laura, at the end, she looks at me and she's like, hey, are we doing a super weekend? Are we doing a super Saturday this weekend? And guys, I had no idea what it was. We're brand new. We're all three of us are 3 weeks into the 3 weeks into the business. She's like, are we doing a super weekend? And I'm like, yes, we are. And I was like, I'll get you the details. And I remember going home and I Google searched, what is super weekend? And I figured out what it was in my coach online office. I figured out that we could register one, and I registered one. And I brought my coach, Laura, that asked if we were doing super weekend to the super weekend. We did the same thing. We put up the same TV, we hooked a laptop up, and we watched super weekend together. But the moral of that story is I wasn't prepared for that. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how to do it. But we just took immediate messy action. So if you're sitting here on this call today and we talk about invites, don't wait for it to be perfect. Don't wait to have the confidence on what you learn about today. My biggest piece of advice is, as you get off this call today, is to take massive, messy action. And just like I took a flyer with my before after picture to my softball game and gave it to all 12, 14 players on our team. And they crumpled it up and tossed it in the garbage can and like laughed at me. And they watched me lose 40 pounds. They watched me run faster. They watched me get stronger and hit more home runs over that year. And they still laughed and crumpled it in. But I still did the invite, and I still did the event. So take that type of action. Yes. So that's the advice I want to give to you guys today. That's the announcement for Super Weekend, and also a little mindset and a piece of advice for you guys to take forward into this topic of inviting. Now, what I want to do is I want to ask you guys, feel free to unmute. I would love for you to unmute. What's your biggest struggle with inviting? What's hard about it? What is there something you don't understand? And let's talk through it together.
For me, mine is like what to say and how much to say. I would say that's what I.
So number one, what do I say to somebody? And how much do I say? Correct?
Yes.
So typically when I'm doing an invite, the first thing I do to get to the point to where I can invite is I first have to have conversations going, right? So I have to have conversations going. We're never going to just write somebody randomly. I'm not going to just go to some random guy's Facebook named Mike, and I'm not going to go, hey, Mike, I just wanted to ask if you wanted to do this new lifting program with us. It's 30 to 45 minutes a day. We're going to start on August 16th. Do you want to join us? We never want to do that. Right. And so the first thing I want you to know to get to that question, to fully answer that question, Laura, is each of us, we need to make sure that we create one of the very most important things you can do as a coach outside of your personal development in your own workout is starting conversations with new people. So if you're not doing that yet right now, I want you to make the decision right now. And we're going to do it like a vow to everybody that's here on the team call together, because I know everyone here has goals with your business and you want to build this business. So if you are going to make a vow to start your conversations as a part of your daily activity and no longer be afraid to do it, and will you raise your hand with me? We're going to do it. I'm going to do it. And those of you that are not, I can't see you, but I see Gio, Mike, and Laura saying it. Okay. I'm going to do this. Okay. And so, and we'll get to what does that message look like, but I want to really answer Laura's message in full detail. But the first thing before we ever get to Laura's question is you guys have to make sure that you're having those conversations, because we can't say, what do I say? or how much do I say if we haven't even started a conversation with them? So let's make sure that we know that that's one of the very most important things to do. Now, Laura, the question I have to answer your question, like, what do I say? I think it will be and Laura's in a little group called, oh, I just spaced it. What's it called, Laura, that you go to? Networking meeting, BNI.
BNI.
She goes to BNI.
Business Networking International.
So she goes to BNI meetings. Laura, I've only been to one in my life, and it was like 11 years ago. You have the opportunity to present at those meetings, right? And how much time do you have to present, and what do you share?
We each get 60 seconds for our commercial, and we let people know who we're looking for that week. So I might say I'm looking for busy moms and professional women who want easy to access recipes and fitness and nutrition. And if it's not easy, they're just not going to do it. So then my second part is what I would like to invite them to. I'm inviting them to a blah, 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 where they're going to learn da, da, da.
Okay.
This week.
So I love that. So that kind of gives you an idea. I want you to try to, and this is for everyone down here, take that concept of you have 60 seconds, maybe an elevator pitch that you have, like, here's what I do. Like, here's who I'm looking to help. Here's what I do. Here's how what I do for them or what I have can help them. And here's something they can do next to learn about it or to take the next step, right? So you do that in sort of an elevator pitch like that. So when it comes to the actual invite, I want you to think of it very simple like that. It should never be longer than 60 seconds. 60 seconds might even be super long. So what mine typically looks like, the way that I do it, where I get the most response, is, let's say I've chatted back and forth with Gio a few times. I find out Gio is a dad. I find out like he works. I find out all these things about him. We have a few back and forth conversations. It might be a week. It might be 3 weeks, depending on how often he's on social media, how responsive he is. After we've had a few back and forths, I know where he lives. I know he's got a wife. I know how old his kids are. I know what he does for work. Like, I have a good understanding about him. If he doesn't ask me like what I do, because one thing to think about is when you ask people about their life, they most likely will ask you something about yours. Like, if you ask them what they do, they might tell you, they might not say anything, but if they do tell you, they might be like, what do you do? They might tell you, I'm a engineer. I've been doing it for this long, but before I was this. And then they might ask, what do you do? They might not, right? But if they do ask, that gives you the perfect opportunity to do just what Laura said right there, an elevator pitch. Be like, oh, I'm a busy dad of 5. All my kids are in football and soccer and dance and sports. And I found a home workout that, I committed to the workout and the meal plan, and I lost, 38 pounds. I got abs for the first time in my life. But then I found out that I could help other busy dads and moms do these home workouts as well. And now I run fitness challenges where I help people that are, have busy schedules like that. I help them get results with these incredible programs. Have you ever thought about doing a fitness program? I say it like that. Have you ever thought about doing a fitness program? Or I ask, have you ever heard of P90X or Insanity? It's super, not really asking them to do anything, but asking them, have you ever done P90X or Insanity? I'll give you an idea. Like, I met this kid, he does real estate in my hometown. So we were chatting back and forth. And by the way, I have a phone call with him at 2:00. So I want to explain how that invite process happened to him and what's happened so far. He does real estate. He's like working on marketing himself, sharing things on his social media. So I met him by using Idaho Falls hashtags, like meeting people in my hometown. And we've been chatting for maybe 2 months. And then one day I saw him working out at a gym. Like, he was doing some heavy squats. And I was like, hey dude, I saw your posted about working out. That's so awesome. Have you ever heard of P90X or Insanity? And he's like, oh yeah, me and my family, we used to do those workouts. Those workouts are so awesome. And then that's where you have to have confidence in what we do. And I was like, dude, and this is a voice text. I'm like, dude, that's so awesome that you and your family did that and that you're getting back into working out. I don't know if you knew this, but Beachbody actually has a program where you can, if you use the programs, you can help people get results with the program. And when they buy them from you, you can get paid 25% commissions. And he's like, what? No way. And he's like, is that an MLM? And that's where someone might be scared. Like, oh no, they're going to ask the MLM question. And I was like, you're dang straight it is. Like we have the opportunity to help people get results of these programs and they pay you to do it, instead of them just selling them on an infomercial. And he's like, what? He's like, I had no idea that was a multi-level marketing company. That's awesome. And so today I have a phone call with him. So that's all the information I gave him. When you're talking about how much information do I give? So for example, on that coach opportunity, I wasn't like, you make 25% commissions, you can get to emerald rank and diamond rank, and then they pay you all of this stuff. I was just like, bro, like if you use these programs and you share them with other people, Beachbody will pay you a 25% commission for helping these people when they buy the programs from you. So you see how really simple, really basic and simple it is. So my invites are very simple like that, Laura. The same thing would go for like someone that's interested in doing the workouts. But very simple like that. And then the magic I feel of the invite, and this might be scary for some of you guys, but this is where I feel I close more people. I'm able to close more people on buying a challenge pack, becoming a coach, is I get on the phone with them. So the next step with him wasn't just to text him out a whole bunch of stuff. I expressed my excitement. We were back and forth, followed up. And then I was like, dude, text me and we'll find a time to chat. He texted me. We scheduled the call for today at 2:00 p.m. So when I get on that phone call with him as a part of the invite process, I don't have an agenda of like, I'm going to give him all the details of this. My structure almost every time, whether it's for a coach, a preferred customer, or just a client, is to get to know that person even more. And Laura, you're going through a program right now that will probably align much with what I'm going to share right now. But I ask them all the questions that I possibly can to understand what they need. So I'm going to try to figure out what he's going to need that I can offer him. And then I'm just going to focus on my presentation that's going to last like 3 minutes, unless he asks other questions, is going to be telling him exactly how Beachbody coaching can help him accomplish XYZ that he wants to get. Right? Because he's a real estate agent. I don't know how that conversation is going to go. But I'm going to figure out what he wants to get from coaching, what he feels he's going to get from it, what he wants from it, or what he expects from it. And then I'm going to show him how he can get that. Okay. And I missed one step there. Gio, there's two of you there for a minute. You scared me. I see your name on there twice. Anyhow, one of the steps that I forgot is when I shared that excitement, what I do for coach opportunities is I share the 6-minute video from Carl Deichler that's on Vimeo. So he did watch that video. Let me find it for you. I have it in my notes. A 6-minute video with Carl under coach opportunity. I'm going to post it in the chat right now. Okay, so there you go. So I share that one with every prospect. So it's super simple. It's not long. It's not overwhelming. And then I work to get on the phone with them. So I share my excitement, briefly introduce what it is, share the 6-minute video, schedule a phone call if they're interested. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, what other questions do you guys have about that? I see
I've got something to say about inviting.
Yes, okay. I would love to hear it.
So I totally agree with, it's super important to connect with the person first before just like a straight out invite before you even know them. I hate that feeling when someone just comes to me with like, hey, do you want to do this? And then gives me all the details. And I'm like, I don't even know you. I don't really want to tell you about my health goals. Obviously you don't know me because you haven't seen my social media. You know what I mean? So I always try and look at their content if I can, get to know them a bit there to ask questions. But I had a really good experience recently with someone. I'm going to try and share my screen here. I think it'll let me.
Yeah.
Only host can.
I can make you a co-host. Give me 1 second. It takes.
Okay.
You are now a co-host, so you can do it.
Let's try it. Okay, screen. Let's see, is it going to work? Everything on your screen? Okay, cool. Okay, I don't know why it's giving me 3 seconds. Oh, what's happening? Did it work?
It didn't.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
It didn't. It popped up and then it disappeared.
Oh,
Try one more time.
okay. So I'm just trying to show you my conversation. Do I click on screen broadcast? There we go. Start broadcast. It's giving me 3 seconds.
Oh,
Sharing screen.
there it is.
Yes. Wait. Okay. Is it working?
Yep, we can see your background, your apps.
Okay. Oopsie, wrong button. Okay. So this is Nicole, and I just told her, you look so familiar. How do we know each other? Apparently we went to all school together, and we had a really good conversation. Can you still see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, we got to know each other, just had a good conversation. And I left it at that. And then she reached out to me saying, I've been wanting to work out and asking me what I've done. And this was back in May. And then just 2 days ago, she reached out again. And she signed up on the 2nd. So like she was ready when she was ready, but she knew who to go to, if that makes sense, because of our conversation, and she got to know me on a personal level.
Yes.
And as well with that, I have notes. Sorry, I don't know why I'm like nervous. I'm like,
No, you're doing awesome.
I also, let's see if I can move your face. Okay, so I have a note section where I can do a quick response when I do get to inviting and still make it personal and not so like copy paste, although this is copy paste sometimes, but it's dependent on the person. So like these are some of my go-to initiation for inviting. I'm not sure how much you know about Beachbody on Demand. If I answered any of your questions you might have, would you be interested in that home workout they do? So I have like all these prepared conversation starters, invite starters based on the individual. Some people I know are seeing my stories. Some people I don't think they have. Like, let's see. I'm not sure if you see my obsession with all my at-home workouts. Do you know much about Beachbody on Demand? So I'm trying to keep it like simple, to the point, and a clear invite, while also like giving them opportunity to share their response, because I want it to be a back and forth.
Yeah.
And because if you have like 6 messages from you and they're not responding, it's like, oh no.
Yeah.
But if it's back and forth, it's so much easier to get things going. So it's okay to like wait. Obviously you want to invite and you don't want to take that out too long, but there's other people you could invite that you've already started this process with. So like with her, I waited, I think it was a few days, and then she reached out to me. And then if someone does say they're clear not interested, I always try and make sure they know we're still friends. So I just continue the conversation. Like, okay, that's great. I can follow up with you in this month if they are interested, but later. Or like, okay, reach out to me if you feel like you're ever ready. And then I ask them another question about their life, like how's school, how was your summer? Just because I'm very like sensitive to not wanting to feel just all business. But just doing my best to like, yes, I'm a mentor, I'm a coach, I'm your friend. And I can be all 3 and not just one.
I love that. That's such great advice. Thank you so much. I love that. I do that as well with my notes. It's like copy and pasted. And I love how you shared just different ones. And a lot of times, I'll do copy and pasted, but what I do is, I'll write like one whole sentence or 2 specific to what I see on their social media or what we talked about in the last conversation, and then paste in the thing that I might be the little invite that I might be sending out to everybody that day, which could be, it was neat to see that yours is very similar. Like, have you ever heard about Beachbody on Demand? Where mine was very similar, where I said, have you ever heard of the workouts P90X and Insanity? Like, it's just a question. And one thing I want to point out from what Shandy shared as well in this invite process is making sure that every conversation, every message that you send ends with a question, because that keeps the conversation going. Because if you just like, you say something, maybe ask a question the first time, they respond, and then you're just like, okay, cool, that's awesome. And then the message just goes dead. And then you have to kind of awkwardly later try to re-spark that. So just make it a habit to make friends. Obviously there is an agenda. We know what we have, who can absolutely change somebody's life, completely change somebody's life on many different levels. So there's agenda in the fact of, we know what we have will change your life. But also don't forget the part of, people want to be heard, people want to be understood, and people don't want to be sold to. Like, I get messages all the time from even some people that might have some great offers for me, or things that could help me in my business. And if I just get a random DM that's this long copy pasted thing about how we can help you with this and that and this and that, and they've never liked a photo, never commented, never asked me anything, I immediately just hit, do you know what I actually hit? I hit mark as spam. Right? Because it is spam. They didn't try to make friends. They didn't try to have a conversation with me or know anything about my life. And I think I've been able to be pretty successful at this. A couple of things. Number one, I was determined to never be a Beachbody coach when I first got invited. Like, I wrote on my Facebook page, if any of these coaches could ever convince me to be a coach, I would absolutely crush it. Because I was so determined. I love the workouts, but I was so determined to be anti-Beachbody. And you guys know Jennifer Greenberg. Her and I actually created a Facebook group. And it was we will help you get results with P90X without making you buy something from us. Like, we were going to be the people that help people that weren't coaches, right? That's how against I was coaching in the beginning. But let me tell you why. Because I put my before after pictures up on the P90X like page, and within one day I received like 30 copy and pasted invites to webinars, to 3-way calls with their upline coach, without them ever asking me a single question or commenting on that photo or anything. Just a random, hey, Scotty, I saw your pictures in the P90X like page. You have great results. You'd be an amazing coach on our team. I was wondering if you want to do a 3-way call with me and my upline to talk about how you could turn your results into a business. And I was like, what the heck is that? Because I had no idea what Beachbody coaching was, but I was like, I'm never going to be one of those. But I did love the programs. And eventually, you guys know, I did become a coach, obviously. But I'll tell you why. Somebody was telling their story on social media and YouTube, which was Lindsay. I reached out, I emailed Lindsay and I said, hey, I saw your story. I saw your transformation. I'm kind of curious about coaching. And this is what she did. I'm so excited that you got results with the programs. And she saw them. She's like, you have awesome results. Shoot me a text and let's find a time to chat on the phone. Right? And what did she do on the phone? And this goes back to what I was saying about my coach up on the phone, where I want to find everything out about them. She asked me about my life. What did I go to school for? What do I do for work? How long have I been married? Where did I meet my wife? How many kids do we have? How old are they? But by asking those questions, do you know what one of the questions was? I don't think I share this enough. She asked me, when I said that I was running the service department at a steel factory, do you know what she asked me? Is that what you always wanted to do? Or is that what you went to school for? And it hurt. It hurt me. I was like, no, like, I ended up here. I don't know how, but I'm not supposed to be here. And so she asked me really hard questions also inside of that conversation, going back to kind of, Laura, what you and I were talking about 30 minutes ago. Then she knew exactly what she could offer me as a coach, telling me this, if you take your results and you do the things that I teach you, I can't promise you any amount of income, but the number of lives that you change will directly impact your income. And so I trusted in her. But guys, what I want you guys to know, and it goes back to kind of Shandy's conversation she shared, after that phone call, I was more open to the coaching because I was like, okay, I could do this thing if I did it like Lindsay, but not like those nasty people that were sending me copy and pasted scripts without ever commenting, liking, or having a conversation with me. So it opened the gates and the doors to me. But then guess what I had to do? I watched her like a hawk for 8 months as I overcame my own fears, my own doubts, my own insecurities. I made sure that she was true to her word, who she said she was, by watching what she did on social media. Right. And so what I wanted to remind you guys of that. And I should do this more often, but I used to joke with my new coaches on a getting started right call as they started making invites and writing down names of people that were interested. I was like, if you're just going to give up in 6 months and quit because no one has started with you yet, would you please just send me over that list of people? Because one day they're going to be ready and you're not going to be here, and I'd be happy to help them. And I used to say that as just like kind of a joke, and to help them realize that people aren't always going to sign up like right away. Like I took 8 months and I loved the programs, right? Shandy had a conversation with somebody, but Shandy, if you guys watch Shandy's social media, she's doing reels all the time. She's sharing about her workouts. She's sharing about what she does as a coach. And then what did that friend do when she was ready? She reached out to Shandy. And that, I think that's one of the biggest parts I want you guys to understand about the invite process is that I'm just going to repeat what Shandy said because she said it perfectly in a way, or shared perfectly what it is they knew who to go to when they were ready. Right. So it's important when we're doing the business activity tracker to have to start the conversations every day, to have the conversations, to ask the questions, to learn about their life, to make the invite, and completely disassociate ourselves with whether they buy from us or not. Whether they do that or not has nothing to do with your worth or your ability as a coach. It has everything to do with, is it the right time and the right product for them, right? And so make sure that you guys make that commitment. Raising the hand, I commit to doing this for myself, is that you commit to that process. But then one of the important parts I think about the invite process that might get missed in trainings a lot is doing what Shandy is doing, is every day consistent. And kind of Laura, what we were talking about, where you're like, sometimes I don't have time to post a workout clip or post a meal or whatever it might be. With any of the activities for any of us, we can find the time. But by doing that consistently, the people that we are talking to and inviting can see what we're doing every single day. They can see that you're true to your word, that you are on this journey of helping people, that you are consistent, that there's someone that they can count on. And I think one of the biggest things, like looking at somebody, if you're going to do business with someone, you want to make sure that they're a loyal person, that they're true to their word, that they're going to be there and follow through with the promises that they make. So each of us in that process, we have to make that commitment that we are going to become that person, or we will be that person, so that when the people are ready, they've seen us be consistent. They don't see us go hard for a month, disappear from social media for a month, come back for a month, disappear for a month. Most likely they're not going to come to you if that's the way that you run your business.
And on that, no, sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
No, you say it.
There's been times where I've reached out to someone that I've noticed is doing Beachbody on demand, and I still like to reach out and get to know them, like if they're a coach or whatnot. And I reached out to one of my friends and I said, we started talking, and then I said, bummer, I wish you would have like signed up with me. And she's like, oh, I didn't know you were a Beachbody coach. Like, I thought you were just doing the workouts, And ever since then, I was like, I want the whole world to know I am a coach, because when I signed up, it's because I learned about Beachbody on Demand and I was so excited about it. I found the only person I knew that was a Beachbody coach. I didn't know people. And I was like trying to find out who's a coach, And so I asked some fitness people and I'm like, where's the Beachbody people? And I found one, and I was like, okay, signed up with her because I didn't know Scotty yet. So that's why I'm like, I want everyone to know. Sorry, and real quick, while I have you on here, I want to show you my notebook. It's so loud here, I apologize. Let's see, how do I flip my screen? There it is. So I got this notebook. 1 second, bud. 1 second, please. Let me mute this. This is what I'm doing when I'm inviting people to chaos. So I have a notebook that's in sections. 1 second, bud. Did I flip my screen? Oh, yes, I did. Okay.
Yeah, we can see it.
And then in each section, I have tabs. So this first section is about people. So my first tab is like my team, the people that have signed up, coaches or just clients. And then my next tab is prospects. So people that have said like, I'm interested, talk to me in a few months, or I really want to, I don't have the money right now. So people that have genuine interest, I write on prospects. And then I just have a list of like contact suggestions, because sometimes when it's time to invite, I go blank, like, who do I start with? So I'm like, just go to your list and then just go down the list, you know, to make it simple. And if I'm not ready to like invite, I just have a conversation with that person. And then I have little notes for contacted, invited, stuff like that. And then just the whole second tab is just notes about team calls, anything, my personal development. So this is about just what I'm learning. And then I don't know if I've dedicated this last one yet to anything. So that's still open for something, but this has really helped me to look at it on paper and remember people and our conversations, because it can really add up with how many people you're talking to.
I love that.
The end.
Yeah, I love when I first started writing with a notebook. My first 2 months, I was inviting like crazy because I wanted to hit Success Club 10. I wanted to earn the free trip for Gabby and I at the end of the year. I wanted to be able to tell my wife she could leave her job at the end of the year, you know, the goals that we had. So I was massively taking action, inviting everybody that I knew. And I hit Success Club 10. I got on a team cup and I hit Success Club 36. But one of the biggest things I learned during that cup, you know, just communicating with the other people on that team cup with me, Lindsay and a couple other coaches, was to track the conversations. Like, it was the first time I got a notebook and started writing down the names. And it made my work so much more efficient to be able, when I sat down, to not be like, because my work before those first 2 months was get on Facebook, because I was starting conversations, adding friends. So those were going, but I would get on, my work was to sit down and just answer all the messages and make sure I checked my challenge group and everything. But when I started tracking names every day, when I sat down to work, it would be like, here's a list of names, conversations. My business turned from just answering, responding to anybody that had written me, to actually going and having deliberate conversations with the people that I wanted on my team and that were asking for some sort of help. So I love that you shared that notebook, Shandy. I want to address Leanne's question. I think there was two. Let me make sure I see. Oh, she was saying, I love the idea of pre-made invites. Yep. I use those as well. The next one was, does anyone else have issues with their spouse being uncomfortable with you conversing with strangers online? And if so, what do you do to ease their worries? I'll tell you exactly what I do. And I did this from the very beginning. Is I had a funny story I want to tell, but we'll stay away from that one from right now. What I do is, Gabby knows the password to my phone, and Gabby knows, like, she can get on my Facebook and Instagram, messages, anything on my phone whenever she wants. So we just have that open conversation. She knows what I'm doing with this business, who I'm trying to help. So I think communicating with your spouse, what you're doing, what's the purpose of these conversations, what's the end goal of these conversations. And then two things, she has access, if she ever wants, to go in and look through my messages and see how they are. The second thing was, if I don't get them so much anymore, but in the beginning, my posts were more, I was just so proud of my P90X, more shirtless everything. So I did, in a young 29-year-old guy, shirtless everything, talking to everybody in the world. So I did get more messages like that. But what I did learn to do was just, if I got something, I'd be like, more of like a joke thing. I like, look at this one that came in today. Instead of like just deleting it or like trying to hide, like delete it and hide it, I'd be like, look at this one. Isn't that crazy? I would show it to her and then I would delete or block. Does that make sense? So if there was something, and it wasn't often, I mean, it would happen It happened a couple of times, but that's what I would do. So just open conversation. What's the purpose of the messaging? Why are we doing it? If you want to ever look through it, here it is. And then just, if you do get something, just being like, hey, this is what I got, and then delete it. So I hope that helps. That's what I do. Does anybody else have advice on what you do to ease worries?
I do. First of all, I'm celebrating my 39th wedding anniversary this weekend. And so, having said that, it's all about trust, trust and honesty, and don't let yourselves get into like conversations that would make, if it makes you, if your husband or spouse got in a conversation with someone and you got eyes on that, would that give you cause to question your relationship with them? So don't let yourself get into those awkward conversations. Don't get that personal with people. And two, I don't do any work in front of my husband. My time with him is our time together. So I don't give him reasons to feel like, what I'm doing is more important than he is. So those would be my two.
I love that. Thank you. Cool. What other questions do you guys have? Kim said she took a year of ignoring me. So I think one of the biggest things I want you guys to take away after initiating these conversations, having the genuine conversations like Shandy shared with us, like a screen share of them, that you are consistent and that you are the person that is there and ready for them, that they know that Mike is the person to go to when they're ready to do a home fitness program, or when they're ready to earn in a position where they want to earn some extra income or do some sort of work to help contribute to their family business or family finances. Cool. What other questions might you guys have? Okay, while you guys come up with some, I'm going to share with you guys one of the ways that I'm going to share a couple of the ways that I start conversations. Okay, one of the very first things I did as a brand new coach is very much what looked like what Shandy shared. It was like, you look familiar. And I can't remember exactly how it was, but it turns out they're from the same town, right? So what I would do on Facebook is I would just look for, how it says, you can look for people and there's people you might know. I use that thing massively. And it was like, you have 3 mutual friends or you have 5 mutual friends. I would just add that person as a friend and just say something very similar to what Shandy did. I would be like, hey, we have a few mutual friends. You look so familiar. Are you from Idaho Falls? Right? If I didn't know exactly who they were. Obviously, if I do remember them, I'd be like, hey, I think you and I went to school together. You might've been a year younger than me. Did you go to Skyline and graduate in 2000, right? So I would just add friends. And I'll tell you guys, when I started my Facebook, like I had like 250 friends on Facebook. I never posted on it, but when I started my business, within 1 year, I had my friends list maxed out at 5,000 friends. Like that's how aggressively I was at just adding mutual friends and trying to connect and add people. Okay, so that's one way that I did it. Another way that I find people, especially now, is 2 things. Like some of the things that I'm passionate about right now, we're building 2 homes, a vacation rental and our home that we're going to live in. So I'm following, guess what I'm following? Designers and home builders. So what I do is I follow them. I like their posts when they're teaching something about when you're building your house, don't forget these 3 things, right? They're promoting their business and doing their stuff. I ask them questions like, hey, what about this scenario? What if I were to put this like this? Is that something that you could do, right? So I'll ask them questions. So that's one thing that I do. Another thing that I do is I find somebody that is an influencer that influences people in an area that I am also passionate about. So I'm also passionate about archery hunting. So there's an influencer who's got over 1 million followers, and people absolutely love him. He lifts weights, he shoots bows out of his kitchen through the glass door into his backyard. Like that's all he does all day, run with holding rocks, lift weights, and shooting his bow. And people absolutely love him. And he hangs out with David Goggins and all these people. So what I do is I am looking at the people that are commenting on his posts, and I'm checking out their profiles, because who are they? People that want to do hard things, run up mountains and get stronger, people that are strength training so they can be stronger hunters, and people that are shooting their bows year round so they can be all prepared for archery season. Right? So I'm not going after that guy that has the 1 million followers, but I'm connecting with the people that are commenting and engaging on his. And the cool thing about that is those people are commenting on his stuff. Those people are engaging. So those people are more likely to engage back with me. If, like, let's say he posts something and the guys are commenting and they're like, hey, what do you feel about this bow or this broadhead, this arrow tip, right? They comment. I'll just like the comment. So, right, on their notifications, they're going to see Scotty Hobbs like the comment. I don't give advice because I'm not a pro in that, but I like the comment. They're going to see in their notifications, Scotty Hobbs liked your comment. They might come see who I am, but I'll go to their page. And if it's public, I'll like a few of their pictures. I'll find their hunting pictures. I'll find their bow pictures. I'll comment, and I'll comment on one of theirs. And I'll be like, and a lot of times they'll be a hunter and they'll have harvested a deer or an elk. And I'll be like, oh, that's so awesome. Like, I can't wait until September. And we start a conversation. So I comment, and then I'll take it to the DMs from there. So that's a great way as well. Like Kim, I know Kim is a dance. She teaches dance and does choreography and all of that stuff. So a great thing for Kim to do to go specifically find people would be to find hashtags where other dance instructors, choreographers are using that hashtag. And she would specifically go in and like and comment on their photos, and then take it to following them or going into their DMs when the time feels right. Okay, those are the ways that I specifically do it. I want to share an example of what happened yesterday. Going back on what Shandy shared, just being consistent in sharing your, that you're drinking your shake, maybe taking a pre-workout, doing your workout, reading your personal development. Yesterday, there was a picture of this book and a shaker cup with pink liquid about like this on my desk right here. And I snapped a picture of it. And from that picture, I just put it in my stories. And a girl that I talked to 5 years ago that never bought anything from me, we talked back and forth about her goals, never bought anything. She, how if you have a story, they can reply to the story and it comes to your DM. Well, it came to my DM. It said, hey, I want to buy a bag of Shakeology. Can you send me a link? I like chocolate flavor. Right? And so I sent her a voice text. I was like, hey, Rosa, I'm super excited to hear from you. Super excited that you reached out. And this is basically what I said. This was my message. I'm like, I'm so excited to get you your first bag of chocolate Shakeology. I'm going to make sure I create that link for you. I want you to know it's $128, which is about $4 a serving because there's 30 servings in there. But there's a cool thing going on. We have a package where you get a year access to Beachbody On Demand and a bag of Shakeology for $160, but I have a special discount code of $20 off I can give you. And that package is going to be $20 less. So $140. So you're basically going to get, if you want that package, you'll get a year access to Beachbody On Demand for like $12 extra. Do you want the link just for the Shakeology or the link for the Shakeology and the workouts? And she said, oh, heck, I want the workouts with it. And she's like, I'm so excited to be surrounded with like-minded people that like you. Right? So once again, it goes back to the invite, right? That was an invite from like 5 years ago that went quiet, that went cold or ghosted. But staying consistent and sharing that loud and proud, like Shandy said, that you are a coach, that you are somebody that they can go to. And you never know which of those, that's a business activity. Post about the products that you're using, right? And that was the thing that caused Rosa that day to respond to that story and ready, right? So stay consistent with that. Okay, I'm going to look at the questions real quick. You guys are chatty. I love it. Adrian said, how do you deal with people messaging, asking about what program to do? They know you do Beachbody, but have another coach. How would you approach asking them to join your team? So that's a fine line that we have to be careful of. There's rules in place or whatnot to, there's a couple philosophies. There's rules in place so that there's not coaches out there poaching or stealing customers from other people, right? However, a customer does have the right, not a coach necessarily, a customer does have the right to choose who they want to be their coach. So I would just be very honest and straightforward with people. Like when I find out somebody has another coach and they're asking me questions, I say, hey, if you have another coach, I just tell them, hey, if you have a relationship with your coach and you're working with your coach, I want you to go ask them what they feel will be best for you. If they're not responsive to you, or they're AFK, or like they're not responding to you, and you feel alone and lost and not supported, let me know and I can help you out. But it just be very straightforward, like direct them to their coach if their coach is there, if their coach is, because let's be honest, there are a lot of coaches that start and quit, even coaches that will get people into a challenge pack or a program and then quit. So there are people out there that are like that. So ask if they're being supported, if their coach is there, responding to their questions and whatnot. And just be very straightforward in that. Okay. Yeah. It's only awkward, I guess, if you make it awkward. And then one of my philosophies is I help people no matter what come into my groups. But there is that fine line of if someone has a coach and they're conversing with them and they're buying products from them, I'm not going to have them be in my group and give them all of my support. But if there is a person out there that can't buy a program yet, or has an old set of DVDs and doesn't have the financial means right now to buy it, I'll bring them in my group and support them if they don't have a coach. Does that make sense? But I won't support somebody else's coach that's when they're customer, when they're making a commission from them. So that's the way that I do it. I wanted to give you guys a piece of advice on my follow-ups. Is when, like Shandy shared, sometimes maybe you'll send a message as a follow-up and they don't respond. I'll typically send another one a week later or whenever, typically a week later. I do most of my follow-ups on Monday. And if they don't respond again, I'm not going to go into their inbox 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and just have one side of the conversation, just me. Like I won't do that. So one thing that I do is I just get creative. If it's someone that I know is really interested, if they don't respond, obviously I will let them go, bless and release, whatever you want to call it, and I'll move on. Because if you get stuck on somebody that's not responsive, you're wasting time where you could be trying to find somebody that is ready, or planting seeds with future people that will be ready. So one of the things that I do is I get creative. So if I want them, I've done a follow-up, they've checked in with me, or they haven't responded. One thing I'll go to do is I'll go to their social media and see, have they been posting consistently? If I have unanswered messages in my inbox that they're not answering, but they're posting on social media, then I know they're just ignoring me for the most part, or they don't have Messenger installed. Maybe they didn't go to their Messenger. So one thing that I do is to get someone to respond to me is I will, if it's on Instagram, if they're doing stories, I will respond to a couple of their stories about their kids or whatever it is they're doing. That response goes into their inbox. So it's something completely different. So I kind of change the subject a little bit and take the pressure off them a little bit for responding to the question, and just keep it more light and go back into that. Also, if it's on Facebook or Instagram on their posts, they're not doing stories, I'll comment on their beach day they did with their family. I'll comment on their kids' back to school pictures. And then what it will typically do is be like, this person genuinely cares about me, not just sending me message after message after message. He's interested in our life and what we're doing. So just get creative in your ways to connect with people and let them know that you genuinely care about them. Okay. Looking at the questions. Okay. Any last questions before we end? I do have a call in 5 minutes on the hour. Thank you. You're welcome, Mike. Okay. So guys, I'm grateful that you guys were here. I'm going to give you guys a little piece of advice about this. Number one, you must treat this like a business. I'm going to give you one analogy. Imagine you invested $50,000 in a Subway Jamba Juice franchise. And then you invested another amount of money in renting out a building and space and paying them money to get it all set up. Now you've invested $100,000 or something, and you want to build this Jamba Juice business. You want to make a fun environment where people come and get refreshed, right? You have your mission. Obviously you want to make money from it to provide for your family. What would happen if you have your grand opening and then first of all, my other question is, would you just open the store and not tell anybody? No, you would be on your Facebook, be like, guys, we're so excited. This has been a dream of mine for so long. We opened up our Jamba Juice. It's over on 835 Broadway and on the corner of First North, whatever, right? You would be like, come to our grand opening, come anytime. If you come in, come say hi to me. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be in there making the shakes. You're going to like shout it from the rooftops, right? So take that mindset with this business. This is your business. This is your future. Shout it from the rooftops. Let people know what you do. Let people know how you can serve them. Let people know how their lives can change through the fitness programs, the nutrition, from the community, from the coaching opportunity, and do that. But then the second thing is, I'm going to pose a question. What would happen if a month down the road, you didn't get as many customers come through the doors you want? You weren't profitable in your first month like you might have anticipated, and you just decided not to show up. You just didn't even go. Like your sign on the front door says open from 9 a.m., closes at 9 p.m. And you just never went in and turned on the lights. What would happen to the friends that you did invite if that day it's super hot after the kids' baseball game and they came over to get a Jamba Juice and they got there and the doors locked at like noon? What would happen? They'd be like, what the heck? Like she just posted about this. Like, did she already shut down? Like, what happened? I thought she was doing this. So the same thing is with your guys' business. You have to be there and you have to show up. Obviously, there's going to be times of your life where you go through a trial. You're going to be overwhelmed. Maybe you're going through finals. Maybe you're having a child, but there's some way that you can show up even just a little bit consistently to let people know that you're still there and that you're still able to help people. And so my advice to you guys today, whatever it is, hashtag keep your lights on. Like keep your business lights on. Let people know that you're open, but also be that person that when they do come, like Shandy's person came to her when she was ready, that they don't get there and the lights are off and the door's locked when they're ready for their Jamba Juice, when they're ready for their solution. Okay, guys, let's go get it. I'm grateful for this team. I'm grateful for each one of you guys, and we'll see you guys in the team page, sharing your BAT when it's done, sharing advice. And like Shandy, I would love in the team page when you have success stories like that or stories like that, come share with the team, share with people what the process is like, and be that leader. Step up in the team page and share what's working, what's not working, because we're going to build this Star Diamond team together, not just by me talking. Okay, see you guys later.
Thanks, Scotty. It was awesome.
You're welcome. Thanks, Laura.